Sargent City Council to order. My name is Mel Myers, and I'm the mayor of the city of Sargent, and I'm glad you joined us this evening. It's my pleasure to introduce the members of the Sargent City Council and the city staff that are with us tonight. Vicki Schneider, Jerry Sheets, Tim Clayton, Troy Gavin, city administrator, and Gwenda Horkey, city clerk. In accordance with the section 84-1412 of the Nebraska Revised Statutes, a current copy of the Open Meetings Act is available for review and is posted on the east wall of the meeting room. We'll now have roll call. Roll call?
Hightower, Clayton,
Yep.
Schneider,
Yes.
Sheets.
Yes.
Any item listed on the consent agenda may, by the request of any single council member, be considered as a separate item under the regular agenda section of the agenda. Are there any items that need to be removed from the consent agenda by the council?
Good.
Okay, motion needed.
I make a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, any further discussion among the council members? Roll call?
Sheets,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Clayton.
Yes.
Okay, we'll go into the first action item. Approve or deny Heidi Bordoff building permit for a fence on 45275 West Main.
I move to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, any
I
further?
assume it's okay.
I don't know about it. I didn't.
Oh, sorry, Tim. Did I send it?
That's
She
behind
came in
your house.
early.
I'm sure, I've been by it. That's
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
Okay. Any further discussion among the council members? Roll call?
Schneider,
Yes.
Clayton,
Yes.
Sheets.
Yes.
Number 2, approve or deny the ratifying the actions of the alarm meeting of 10/2/24.
Anything earth shattering?
No, it wasn't. What the actions that need to be ratified was the minutes from the year before. There was only 18 members of the alarm group there to approve the minutes, and then there were several members that were going off, and new people were appointed. So
All right. I move to approve.
Yeah, second.
Okay, any further discussion among the council members? Roll call?
Clayton,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Sheets.
Yes.
All right, number 3, approve or deny Steve Connor's building permit for a building at 81436 Highway 183. Tim, did you look at this?
Yeah, I did, and he's fine, he's got it within the rights, so he's been good.
Okay, so this is a garage,
Garage, and they put the sidewalk beside it to the garage,
okay?
and then cover the sidewalk. he said.
I'll move to approve.
I can second it.
Okay, any further discussion among council members? Roll call?
Clayton,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Sheets.
Yes.
Number 4, approve or deny the purchase options of a skid steer. Okay, Jerry?
I would like to lease for another year because when I was talking with Troy, yesterday or the day before, whenever it was, about possible repairs needed to the city, the light plant, maybe the motors and all that. And we discussed sitting down and putting a price tag on everything and see where we're at, and then address it next year.
Tim, what are your thoughts?
I think that's maybe a good deal to maybe wait till next year to see how things are.
My thought process a little bit on that is, like, I understand what Jerry's saying. I think there's money. It's my understanding that there will be money generated from that light plant though, right? To take care of the expenses on the light plant, is that correct?
I don't know that answer.
Yes.
And my other
But we have
thought-
to get it up and running first.
Well, it's all running
It-
besides number 4.
Okay, that's not the message I got, okay.
No, 1's running, 2's running, or I'm sorry, 1, 3, and 4. So we're being paid by NPPD now on the capacity agreement for those 2 units. We've gotten our
Okay.
first check. We gotta get number 4 up. The bottom end is perfect. We do have to re-sleeve it. We know that. I'm
Okay.
waiting on the bid for that. So, like we talked the other day, some things that need to be done with that over time, they need to be done when we did our capacity test in the end of June. So 5 years from that point, we have to retest. And in that 5-year period, we want to move the catalysts to relieve the back pressure on those engines. So that's a 5-year plan. And if it's a couple $100,000, I'm waiting on 2 different bids from 2 different companies. Cypress Engine was here a week or so ago. Faraday Mechanical's been here, did the assessment on number 4. And I don't even want to guess, but just to re-sleeve it, pistons are good, rod bearings are good, wrist pins are good. Everything that we might, their comment was, this lower unit has, the lower half of that has been gone through. That's good. So,
Is this on the agenda?
We're talking about whether or not we should purchase a skid steer,
I
which is.
understand you're speaking about the.
It's all
Okay,
part of-
so I was
So it's
gonna
all
finish
It
my
is related
statement by
in
saying
that.
we're just
Don't
talking
worry
about
about it.
future expenses.
Excuse me, I asked if it was on the
Okay.
agenda, I believe it's a legitimate question.
it is related. So, Neil did text me today and said, hey, if we don't go with the Bobcat, he's gotta pick up the Bobcat tonight. Our absolute preference is the Bobcat. I understand, Jerry, I'm not opposed either way. Yeah, like I said, that machine's pretty new. Whatever the council decides. To me, it makes sense to buy it out, you know, just the net income of the power plant the net income of our utility on the power side would pay for that in less than a year. Take 2 years on the street fund. So I'm not concerned about that, about running out of cash, about depleting our fund, because it would be replenished within a year. However, if that's the council's wishes,
You know, and
I'm
then-
gonna die on.
And then a year or so, it's gonna be, you know, be more expensive,
It is gonna be more expensive.
you know.
Sure, everything is.
Well, like I said, the lease has
Guaranteed.
gone up from 5,000 to almost 7,000 in a couple of years. And everybody believes that's gonna continue. The price of these machines, you know, here's the other thing I'm just gonna put out there for consideration. With the discount we get, the governmental discount, we could look at this that we're immediately getting over $20,000 in equity, because we're getting over almost $24,000 governmental discount. So we have equity in the machine. That kind of makes sense to me, whether you're a private you know, if you can buy something and immediately have some equity in it, that part of it makes sense to me. So that's just my input on it, okay?
Thank you. Questions?
No, I do think it's probably prudent to wait. We do have a lot of stuff coming up, as much as I would like to buy something new. And have that, I will agree with Jerry that it would be prudent to wait, maybe get some numbers on some of these other things that are coming down the pipe. And then, maybe go after it next year when we have a better idea.
But keep leasing the Bobcat, I mean,
Well, obviously, we have to keep one, you
Yeah.
know, however we can make that happen.
'Cause we have water mains, then we have them I forget the exact
Fair
term you call
enough,
it.
yeah, fair enough.
And then that drainage as well is all gonna be coming up in 2 years,
True.
so.
like,
Okay, so
So-
we want to continue to lease it though, correct?
I am in favor of leasing it, yes.
Okay. All right.
Any input, Neil? I
I'm
mean,
good.
that's anything that the board needs to know about this.
The lease, $6,800 this year, same size, same everything, yep, it did go up. From last year to this year, hopefully we can hold it, but don't know. But yeah, I do have a brand new one sitting there ready to lease or purchase with your name on it, ordered in with the thought that you guys would do one or the other.
Appreciate that very much.
So, and that leases through 5 Points just like last year. So,
Okay.
yep.
Thank you very much, and thank you for coming back
Yep.
over tonight. I appreciate
I
that.
want your business and that's why I'm here every time.
Thank you. Really
Yep.
appreciate that.
I'll give it Troy and arrange for the delivery, and then I'll have 5 Points get hold of you and get it going again. Not a problem, guys.
Thank you.
All right.
Well, thank you guys,
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Have a good night.
Neil, thank you for coming up.
You bet, it's my job.
Appreciate you.
It's my job. All right, guys, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Watch that
Yeah.
door.
Okay. Okay, so can we make a motion then to, lease this instead?
I will move to continue the lease.
Second?
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you. All right, number 5, approve or deny
We need,
taking.
A roll call.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Roll call,
Okay.
yes.
I'm in a hurry
Thank
too.
you.
Clayton,
Yes.
Sheets,
Yes,
Schneider.
Yes.
Okay, 5, approve or deny taking bids to paint the trim on the medical clinic. What's that?
What?
Can we paint that
What do you mean, can we paint that?
instead of getting bids? Well, I didn't know.
We can, I mean, that's why I wanted it on here to bring it up.
Oh.
Because if we're gonna rent it out, I think that needs to be, it's right on Main Street, like the trim needs to be painted on that, I mean, that's really the only thing. So, Coley had approached me about that, and I had just told him that I wanted to talk to the city council about that. Right, exactly, the city could either paint it, but I think it needs to be addressed, especially if we're going to get that up and running, we need to do what they need us to do,
For
so
sure.
that that building is utilized the way that it needs to be utilized. So just a thought, we take some bids, see what it would cost the city, see what the bids are gonna be, that kind of thing, I think
That's
that's,
good.
I mean, cause really it's
Well-
just the trim around the outside the building, the window wells and all of that are obviously taken care of.
how long would it take you, Troy?
I'm a crummy painter.
Ah, you gotta prove it to me.
Matter of fact, you probably don't want me even around that job. I don't know. I'd have to look. I frankly don't know. I don't know what they're
about-
paying.
I think
But
it's,
I
I
mean,
mean,
it-
it's literally just the building, it's just,
Three guys a day,
I
you
think
think?
it would take you a day, I don't think, but anyway, I would be more than happy to
What
help
color?
too.
Same color?
I think we should paint those bricks, I think we should like go all out on this.
Hey.
Paint the bricks.
Mel painted her bricks, her building looks
How
amazing.
about you? Tell us what you want done. We'll
Doesn't-
just-
Yeah,
Okay, well, anyway, just a thought, just throwing it out there, that maybe if that is something that happens and or does come over here, that we could spruce that building up
At
a
least
little
let's
bit.
find
Well,
out what
it's-
somebody's willing to do it for.
That's
that's
my
fair.
thought, and so I did ask him, he did do a thing, so if somebody else, maybe we could put it in the paper if somebody else wanted to, present what they, an estimate for that, and then we can entertain that, and we can revisit it and see if, we wanna do it. Some of us can just volunteer time, or the city guys wanna do it, or however, whatever
Yep.
makes the most sense, but
Sounds good.
I think it'd be nice to spruce that up if somebody else is gonna.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Do you have time? We just do it in the afternoon?
I mean, honestly, something gives, right? Something's gotta give.
I mean, we have a sprayer, I mean, it didn't take that long to spray ours, it's not a monumental deal, but anyway, just a thought, it was really more of a,
Yeah.
talking thing and thinking about doing that as we were talking about,
Put a brush in each
rent.
hand, you could whip her out.
the rent for the medical clinic. Did
Do we want a motion to apply for bids?
Sure.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we take some bids to paint the trim on the clinic.
I can second that.
Any further discussion on the council members? Roll call?
Clayton,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Sheets.
Yes.
Okay, and then approve or deny a price for the rent for the medical clinic. They came over and looked at that, last week, is that right?
Yep, they came over and looked at it on the 30th.
Okay, and so, were you present when they did that? Like, did they talk to you about that? Have we heard back from them, or what's the status on
Not
that?
heard back from them. They were very interested and wanted to know what rent was, and I did not give them a exact quota. I said we'd have to talk to council and see what that was. I know the comment was made that the rent for the previous one was pretty cheap, and so maybe we should think about that, so.
I think 800 would be fair. Anybody else's thoughts, opinions on that?
What were we
It's a
asking?
business.
500.
Mhm.
And the city does. When the toilet seat broke, the city replaced it. When lights are out, the city replaces it. I mean, we were
They're
pretty
pa-
much at their beck
Paying
and
for
call.
maintenance also, and
Right.
snow removal and all that kind of stuff, so, no, that's fair to me.
We do the snow removal and okay.
Yeah,
What was the amount the council asked?
$800.
Thank you. Does that include utilities?
Okay. Motion for 800.
I can make a motion.
Somebody second?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion among the council members? Roll call?
Schneider,
Yes,
Clayton.
Yes.
Sheets.
Yes.
All right. Anything else? Anybody have any comments at this time?
I just have a question, if we're gonna get our building permit approved,
Okay.
that was tabled for the Sergeant Grove Foundation.
Right, so when we had that meeting, and I talked to Tim, and I talked to the guy from JEO, he said that he would be out in a couple of weeks. He was gonna contact him, and he was gonna contact me.
It's been a month, has he contacted you? Because he hasn't contacted us, and Jim Trotter, I talked to Jim Trotter yesterday, and he called Linda and said, just do it without building permit, but we're gonna, we're trying to do it right, because all this stuff's sitting there. 'Cause we're
I
in-
thought that meeting was only like 2 weeks ago when we did that. When was that meeting?
The 18th.
The
September.
19th.
Okay. He said a couple of weeks. I just wanna make sure that there's no, I mean, this is a long-term,
I just wanted, is the contingency, we'll move it if it comes through. That's what Jim said. We can, if you give us the building permit with the contingency, if it does come through, we'll move it. Because it's not being cemented to the ground. We're
Is
not
this on
putting
the
up-
agenda?
this is citizens' comments, okay?
Yes, and you're answering citizens' comments, I object.
Okay, that's fine.
And so, he just asked if we could do it that way, and we can move it. We're not cementing a post in the ground, we're just pounding them in. And it's just a fence. We're not putting up like bathrooms yet, or a crow's nest, or anything like that.
Okay,
So that's what I'm just asking.
okay. I think that that's probably something that we're gonna have to discuss to make sure that everybody's on board with that. And I will probably try and contact that guy and see how close that he is on coming out to do that, cause he said it would be a couple weeks and he was gonna bring out the survey and just have it all done. He didn't see that there was a problem with that. I will call him and then I'll get back to you on that. That sound okay?
Yep.
Anyone else?
I brought up in the health board meeting, and I'd like to bring it up again in this specific meeting, that is that we have seemingly a impasse in regards to the building at 502 West Main, that is the brick building. We have a fence that you've had there that is in derelict condition. If I left my fences that way, you'd be on my case. But at the same time, we've made the whole south edge of it is blown green, that has been for a week. I understand that Troy's gonna work with that. I also understand that with the past administration, they said that I could put in the sidewalk as long as it was the same footprint on the east side of that building. I made an agreement with the fire marshal at the time that you had a forced inspection against the law. In July, that in this case, that would have a egress, we have to have 60%, and if that egress and the front door is, the back door's not. And that sidewalk actually is there, but the grade is impossible. It drains towards my building off of your conduit, or the pipe that you have underground, and therefore it actually drains a foot down. Prima said that they could put a finger in the brick mortar and the water was forcing in and he could stop it, but it'd keep forcing in whenever you had big rain. I anticipate using some of the city's dirt down south to raise that grade, but I still want to put it at the same position, and therefore I'm anticipating that I do not need a building permit. I want communication about that from the city to where we can make sure that that still holds in regards to that position, that specific item. The other thing I've mentioned, that is that you've got a bank building about half a block on the north side, east of my building, that doesn't have a roof, doesn't have a floor, has trees growing in the basement. You've got a livery stable that has 30-inch trees growing out of the foundation. And yet, my building, which hasn't dropped a brick for a year, seems to be a focus. And besides, and not only that, the other basis is that the back 10 building was approved by Mr. Devine and Mr. Jensen, and it is in the minutes of your meetings. And yet at the same time, I anticipate putting some tin on the south side of that and getting some insulation, getting some focus on that to where I can get that taken care of. Again, I would like to see that this council is equitable in how you address and not selectively enforce the laws that are in place. Thank you.
Anybody else have any comments? Gwenda?
We somewhat have a policy if you're on Social Security and your check doesn't come in, you can write us a check and we will, don't post date it, and we will hold it. We had a customer come in and she paid her utility bill and did not tell Haley to hold it. This customer has kind of done that in the past, and I will say, do I need to hold it? And she'll tell me yes or no. So she got an overdraft because we put it through before her Social Security came in. She thinks that the city owes her $30 for her overdraft fee when she forgot to tell us to hold it. So we kind of do it as a courtesy for those people. Used to be Social Security came in on the 3rd, and then things have changed, and now some people don't get their Social Security till the 3rd week of October, or 3rd week of the month, and some people don't get it till the 4th week of the month. So we haven't given back her $30, or we haven't wrote her a check or anything. So I forgot to put that on the agenda for action, but you guys can think about that, and I can put that as an action item.
We'd like to thank the city for that policy because it helped us substantially until we could get caught up with Social Security.
Text Me Gov is going to be contacting me tomorrow. It is a service that we can do a mass text to everybody, say the water's going to be out or the electricity's going to be out, but it's very pricey. Unless they've kind of came down a whole lot, I don't think we need it. It's a lot.
Would you talk to Loop City? I know they do it too, but I don't remember the name of that. If you
Okay.
would, please. I talked about it years ago, but,
Yeah, it's been around for a long time.
and I don't know if it's the same product even. I don't know.
What's it do? It
Say-
Like your school text. where
Yeah,
you
it's like
send
your
out a
school
text.
text. Yeah, but it was pricey. I mean, it was over $3. The last time they contacted me, it was going to be over $3.
a phone or a phone
a-
or number.
Yeah, a residence. So we'll
Per
see.
month, you're talking?
Probably, yeah, it was over $600. So, and probably more than that. So I don't know why I said 6, but yeah, it was a lot.
Why don't we
mean-
just program everyone's phone number into your phone and then you just send out a message?
Yeah, that would work.
Brilliant.
Is that a
Kidding.
motion?
No. Wasn't.
Mr. Kevin Gustafson, he sent me a financial figure of the drainage project, and Sergeant's cost of that is 2% because things have changed. So the drainage project is only gonna cost the city $92,104.60. We've already paid them $17,000 for design, and we have anywhere, I couldn't find my figures, we have at least 17,000 that we will pay from the ARPA funds that have to be spent before the end of the year. So our 0.5% sales tax that the citizens voted on a couple years ago for the drainage project will more than cover what this drainage project is gonna cost us by time they get to work on it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome, Glenda.
Yeah.
Did everybody hear that? Okay,
Yeah,
just making
sales
sure.
tax is gonna pay for our drainage project, plus our ARPA funds.
Great, that's awesome.
Mr. Trotter called yesterday, wanted to know about about the building permit for the arena. And the next notes I have are for myself to do later, so. Anything for me?
Thank you, it's fantastic.
Yeah, you have. Yeah, I'll be getting stuff to the auditors here in the next couple months, so.
You're doing great.
Troy?
The list, Troy.
I got quite the list, but
Hammer it out.
so I guess probably the topic I wanted to put out there most importantly is of all the things, phone calls I get and complaints that I get, which are really very few, it always has to do with our roll-offs and our scrap iron pile. And while we all believe we want to clean up our town, I think one of the biggest eyesores in town is our scrap iron pile and our roll-off. That's one thing. Every time we switch roll-offs, there's just, we're raking it and cleaning it up, it's always overfilled, so that's one thing. The other thing is, people are putting things in there that shouldn't go in there. We have a camera up there, but tires we get dinged on, other things we can get dinged on. Recently, there was an entire deep freeze full of rotten meat that got put in there.
No.
Again, Todd doesn't want the deep freeze, Todd doesn't want anything to do with that. We get dinged on that. And the total cost of that, okay, this is just my observation. This town should not have any more junk left in this town for as often as we're changing that roll-off out. So I've got some experience. I moved up here from Sutherland. They had some of the same challenges. Hershey didn't have that available. Hershey people were coming, ranchers were coming into town, so they had to put it behind lock and key, create a policy, and sort of police that a little bit. Some towns it's on the honor system and they just charge you so many dollars per pickup load, right? And it's a bit subjective. If you come in with a horse trailer load, it might be $50. It's to the discretion of whoever's manning the gate. So I would propose this. Maybe it's not a proposal, but I want some discussion. We have spent $20,000 on that roll-off this fiscal year. We know that there are out-of-towners using it. I have gone over and chatted with some people and asked for a $100 donation. Gwenda's done the same thing when we catch people. But it's, as it is, that problem's not gonna go away. So here's what I'm thinking. We have that entire expanse out at the tree dump, and other towns have done this. We move the roll-off to the tree dump. Okay, so there's summer and then there's winter time. Tree dump really doesn't get used in the winter time. The roll-off will to a lesser extent than it's being used now. And I just want some discussion here, because I am certain that the cost to the city will go down dramatically without the town getting rubbish piled up around, right? And this is just an example. I'm completely open to the best way to do this. I'm not saying I have the answer. But if we were to put that out at the tree dump, so what happens now, I've talked to Todd about this several times. Scrap iron comes in, we have a gentleman's agreement with him to keep it cleaned up. But people come there all the time and sort through the heavy stuff, pull the copper out, pull out everything that's worth anything. He's doing other things, he doesn't have time to clean it up every day. It's getting to a point where he doesn't even want to pick it up. Because he can't make any money on it. Okay, that's fair. We don't wanna haul it to Kearney or Broken Bow. Maybe that's an option. But if we were to put it, lock the gate behind the packing house, here, barricade that off for now that says roll off is moved, tree dump is moved, or roll off is moved to the tree dump, scrap iron pile. We go out there, I'll bring my bush hog in and I'll get a beautiful place for it. Scrap iron goes over there, Todd can address that anytime. Now, here's the caveat to that. If we're open on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, just say 3 to 6 on Tuesday, 3 to 6 on Thursdays, and 6 hours on a Saturday. That's gonna cost us about $600 a month to man that. Tell you how other towns have done it. As a vehicle's approaching, there's a pair of binoculars and we write down license plate numbers, just to keep people honest. And then we write down everybody's name, what do you got, here's where that goes, here's where that goes. And the towns that I've talked to, it's working brilliantly well for them. I know in one case, they said they went from 2 to 3 a week to 2 to 3 a month. Now, ours isn't that bad, but that's a town of 1,500 people, about 3 times our size. It's not ideal. Frankly, in the wintertime, there's a few towns that just call us, we'll unlock it by appointment. I feel like it's kind of getting out of control. It's messy. You know, that's the city office and that's the light plant over there. And frankly, it's an eyesore and it's a mess. And it's right beside the Palladium. I want it gone. There may be better ideas in other areas, but I do believe if it costs us $500-600 a month in wages for somebody to sit out there, I've talked to a few guys, would be interested in doing it. I'm not sure we pay somebody through the wintertime. That doesn't make sense to me.
I would ask that you didn't do that at the PAC. I would ask that you didn't lock a gate and then have people just decide to dump it at the gate and leave, because that's a real inconvenience. And frankly, it's an inconvenience for the PAC anyway, because of the amount of traffic and the damage it does to the driveway and all the shit that gets, all of the stuff that falls out of people's vehicles into the parking lot. But we're all fine, it's all good. The traffic is dangerous and the stopping and starting is gonna kill somebody someday, but I think it would be a problem for us to have to deal with whatever someone pulled out and they're like, what, the gate's locked? You know, because that's what people do. Another location might be more
Let me ask this.
optimal.
So there's another gate as you go east of the sewer ponds, right before you enter. Would that eliminate your concern if we were to lock that gate? And if they did dump it, they would be dumping it on us and we go out and clean it up.
I think what she's saying, though, is that she's concerned about the traffic, which I think is
It's
very
just
legit.
10
And
times
it
more
is-
traffic.
I didn't
Right.
hear that.
And it is a business,
Yeah.
so I
It is a
completely
lot of-
respect that. So what was your thought process?
I
on
mean,
other
is there some
location?
other piece of property that the city owns where we could put it?
Is this
Or,
on the agenda?
This is
We're
part of
talking
the.
about
Yeah, this is
supervisor.
supervisor reports, thank
And
you.
you're making comments on the agenda, I object, thank you.
Mark, please work with us here. It's for the betterment of
I
the
understand
community.
this, I
Please,
also
please,
understand that
please.
the agenda's already made. And
Anthony,
you won't let me
Go
add to
ahead.
it after
So-
Wednesday, so therefore why should
It's
you?
up to the mayor
Go ahead.
if I
How often
continue.
is the roll-off changed out? Twice a month?
Sometimes it's a couple times a week.
3 times a month at least.
Yeah,
3 times a month,
How much do we take in for it?
roughly 560
A month or a year?
a month.
How many people are dumping their normal trash?
well, they're not bringing like their kitchen garbage. There's some of that.
There's some of
But
that.
I can tell you, if you just sneak around behind and watch at 5 o'clock, at 4 o'clock when we leave, Gwenda's there till 5, at 5:05, people start coming in. And there's no way I would ask her to go over there when you see an 88 county pickup or whatever. That's not something she's gonna do, but it happens. We've got cameras and, so, again, I think it's worth discussion. I think there's a solution. I'm just not sure we have the solution yet.
I'm not sure that we do either.
It's a lot of the metal, right?
Excuse me?
It's a lot of the metal that is making it look like crap.
It
Well,
is.
it's not-
Is there a smaller roll-off to put the metal in?
There
on the other
is,
side?
but some of that, an awful lot of that is heavy enough that people ain't gonna get it in there. But,
I mean, it
Well,
doesn't
there's
sound
those
like
ones
much
that
to
are
say, okay, everybody
this
put a
tall,
dollar
that's
order
why.
in.
good point, very good
Still
point.
doesn't
I mean, if they got it in the vehicle to get it there,
Yep, okay,
but yes, I understand.
I think it does.
so,
But the,
Rose cleaner.
but Todd takes
Is that
that.
gonna be a conflict of interest with J&J Sanitation if you bring in a metal one?
yeah, I was just gonna say, let me address that, is we're required contractually that any roll-off in town has to come from J&J, okay? Todd doesn't do business there, he goes to Kearney with it, and I don't think there's another game in town to keep that scrap cleaned up. You know,
That would be additional money if we had to get another container. Todd doesn't charge us for it, so it would be even more expensive.
Yeah.
Okay.
good point.
I think a
Look-
different location, it would cut down people putting their kitchen trash or kitchen stuff, or just other stuff into it, if you had it at a different location. And I understand where Mickey says tree dump, the tree dump's out of the way, it would be more inconvenience to go to the tree dump. And I totally understand what you're saying about traffic
I
and
do
stuff,
too.
because I have it at my house. So I mean, like, I understand that, but like, if there was a place like the tree dump, that it could go where it's, you know, out of the way, and it's not dead center in town when we're making the town beautiful,
So Jody, it's like, it's almost one or the other.
I don't know.
If we're not gonna man it, then it kinda has to stay where it's at. Cause at least we have an eye on it. So if we move it and we don't manage it,
No, I know.
problem gets worse. And that's why I say, I'm not proposing that I have the answers to this. I just want all the smart minds in here.
It's just a thought process, yeah. Just, I mean, if there was somewhere, you know, and the 3 days a week or something like that, that sounds better than having it just open at all times, because
The abuse.
People are abusing it. I
Yeah.
mean,
Here's the thing, every resident
It's
here,
the convenience of
Yeah.
having it that we're paying for.
say that again?
But by the same token of the manning it versus it being, it's the convenience of having it open that we're paying for also, right?
Well,
$2.
I'm not sure what your $2, if the $2 per month is paying for the convenience of full access or helping to cushion the blow on a monthly basis. The challenge is, you know, I would propose this, that every meter that we have in town, every resident would get a free pass at least once a year. When you're doing your garage cleanup and your backyard cleanup, here's a free pass. Maybe 2 free passes, so whatever. But after that, if you're bringing pickup load after pickup load, I don't know why every resident in this town should be paying for your cleanup, and your cleanup specifically. If you're gonna bring a pickup load out there, is it worth $25 to you not to have to run a broken bow with it? Probably.
So with that, just to expand on your idea of gate or man, I'd get an auto gate with passes or something. So it's open and you can see who's in and out.
Just what? I'm not sure. Yeah,
Like a storage unit.
sure. I'm not sure that, okay, let me.
Or a card reader to open it.
Right. Let's say this. Let's say it was just out there
Then the citizen.
for sake of discussion, Mickey. And a 74 county pickup comes through and we see it 74 county, we have license plates. Who calls that guy? How do we, deal's done. We're not gonna be the city that sicks the police officer on him and says, send us $25 or we're gonna write you a ticket. You know, that becomes messy, I think. You know, God, I wish it worked where it was just on the honor system. And again, my 2 concerns is, it is an eyesore, and I want it gone. And I think a lot of people want that cleaned up. But as importantly is, we're spending $20,000 a year, that's just not acceptable. And I
Okay,
think
so everybody kind of, if you have ideas or thoughts, let us know about a
Okay.
different location or where maybe we could move that to. Troy, you got anything else on there?
Anybody got any questions? I mean, I could go through stuff, but
You good?
I'm good.
Sure? Okay.
You got, that's all you have?
That's all I got. Unless
All right.
anybody's got any questions.
Okay, Mick?
We went to the landfill meeting on September 19th, and there wasn't anything to change as far as the new building and the new separation facility is concerned, but there was a great deal of discussion about batteries and how we have 2 fires a day at the landfill from batteries that, you know, they run over with their equipment or whatever. And it's just like a blow torch when they take off. So our advice is today, these cell phone batteries or something like this laying around the house, that you get, for your own safety and your own sake, get it out of there, because you don't know. It is surprising, the little illuminated shoes that the kiddos wear, they're loaded. Who would have ever thought?
The ones that light up?
Yes. Yes, they are. And so, that was a big part of the discussion, and the tonnage is up at the Alva landfill. It's holding its own at the Burwell transfer station. And, business is booming. That's about it. We'll have a meeting, next Thursday in Alva as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, anybody else have any other comments? We're gonna wrap it up.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you.
It is sleepy.
Are you gonna have a roll call vote?
She's getting there.
Absolutely.
Trust me, 'cause that's how they walk. And they did not
Clayton?
work out.
Yes.
Snyder,
Yes.
Sheets.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you, people.
Thank you.
I won't show you this, but I'm gonna show Jerry Fulton's out here.
I think it's no.
I think it's what?
I think that jacket is
Jesus,
no.
that don't fit you.
It's gonna look good in pink though, baby.
Man, when you can rock it. I was talking about batteries.
No.
Yeah, they had the batteries explode at the light plant. Did you hear that? Joey was there kind of by himself and said it was a good thing because if Tim had been there doing something, it would have,
So that
or
provides us
Tim or
with
Jason would have hit him, so.
blackout.
I don't know.
I've applied for not this 2025,
See you, Mickey. Thanks, Mickey.